My name is Angeline Pearson. I am co-owner of Pearson's Premium Gourmet Barbecue Sauce. From Gary, Indiana, joined the Air Force, met my husband, Harold Pearson Sr. He's the co-founder of Pearson's Premium. He's the co-founder. He's the founder of Pearson's Premium Barbecue Sauce. Now, Harold's from St. Louis, Missouri. He was the only child. It was a rural part of St. Louis, so they like to eat. His mom showed me how to cook chicken. So he didn't have a big family coming out to visit, but in Sacramento, my family always came out and visited, so he would cook for them. But I didn't know he was into barbecue sauce like that, barbecue. And he didn't know I was into barbecue like I was. So we just joined hands in the kitchen, and he do the ribs and the sauce, and I do the side dishes. But he loved cooking. He not only did that, he did the meringue pie and things like that, but he was a handy guy in the kitchen when he wanted to be, okay?
My name is Harold Pearson. I am co-owner of Pearson's Premium Barbecue Sauce, Harold Jr. So my father was the founder of Pearson's Premium, and I've experienced it when, just growing up ever since, we were young. Dad was in the backyard, barbecuing. That's what I remember. And me and my brother, we'd be sleep in the bedroom. We knew he was barbecuing and we knew it would be ready, but it would be like 7 o'clock in the morning. It'd be early. So he would get up really early, start, prepping his meat, get out there on the barbecue, prep the grill. And so he put a lot of time into it. We were a little bit on the lazier side back then, so we didn't feel like getting up at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock on Saturday and go, get on the barbecue grill. So. But after everything was done, just ribs, chicken, and then the sauce, we just have a big pot of sauce. So we never experienced the Casey Masterpiece or all the sauces in the stores. We never had those sauces because they were just at home all the time. So that was a really good experience, and just to see his dedication to the craft, even though, he would be pushing us to get up and participate. It was like, Dad, we don't really feel like, we want to go play with our friends, or, we want to get another hour of sleep. So, it was just a great experience, so, yeah.
I'm Angeline Pearson, and I am co-owner of Pearson's Premium Barbecue Sauce. So when the sauce was established in April of '95, I just remember really always following my father around. He had a lot of errands. He was a busy man. He had his regular day job, and then he had Pearson's Premium. And so as a kid, when I was 7, I didn't really realize the business component of it and him working a full-time job. What I knew was that he was just around the clock, busy, constantly doing things, constantly making deliveries, and hosting even gatherings, events for people to come to the house way long time ago, and we would have the sauce there, and we would be celebrating, I don't know, it might have been a friend's birthday or some kind of event, but he would host. He was a good host. So that's what I remember. I remember him doing that and him incorporating the barbecue sauce, but it was still something that was just like our thing. And so it wasn't something we realized like, this is a big deal. It was just like, no, because of, I think it's because of how he incorporated in our lives as something that was just standard. He loved to feed us. He loved quality. The man took immaculate care of himself. And so as a father and a husband, that's something that he just implemented in his children. And so from there, that's always been the example with us. So daily life was like that for us, is always taking care of, your body and things like that. And that's what he did. And even the foods, him making that sauce is probably the biggest way to say, I love my family, and this is what I created for us to enjoy together. Because then that caused other families to enjoy it together with us. And so it becomes this whole fellowship kind of thing that happens over something as simple as barbecue sauce.
Pearson Premium was started by my father, Harold Pearson, back in 1995, April of 1995. We were in over 30 stores, regional stores throughout Northern California, stores such as Rayleigh's, Bel Air, David Berkeley's, which was a specialty store, big specialty stores out in Pavilions off Fair Oaks back in the day. Those were some of the stores that Pearson Premium was launched in, and customers was able to pick it up. And at the time, I was still in high school, so I was graduating. I was a senior, getting ready for college at the time. And that's when my dad launched. And during that time, during the summer times, you know, I'm going to play football too. So I'm going to college, but I'm getting ready to play football. So there was a time period during the summer where I had an open space to actually help and assist him in managing these stores. So, such as inventory, such as facing our product on the shelves and making sure that we have the latest product in the front, or the earliest product in the front, the latest in the back. Focusing on end caps and stuff like that, just technical jargon that I picked up and learned throughout that summer to really know how the business goes. And also that included conducting taste tests in front of the store. So we would have taste tests, and I would have to just load cases in because people were buying bottles on the spot. So we were doing live taste tests in front of the Rayleigh's and stores. And it was a very impactful thing on my life, because I found like my dad brought this to life in a relatively short time to us. You know, we barely even seen him how he got it to the cases. I don't even know how he did it. We didn't see all that part. We just seen when the bottles came home, and then we were in business. And so it definitely gave me a big outlook on life and what is able to be accomplished when you put your mind to it and really focus on what you need to do, and realize you have a great product out there and how to do it. And everything he done was very meticulous, as far as his branding, as far as his color scheme on his labels, down to the ingredients, everything. And so we thought, well, if he can do that, then I'm a Pearson. I should be able to do anything.
Okay, so now in 2020, I was living with my daughter in North Carolina, and the boys and their dad was out here in California. And you know, we were all sheltered in, locked down. Oh my God, just thought we'd never get out of this. And people were suffering in their businesses. And so my daughter decided to call, and I didn't know the kids had done this. They told me later. My daughter called her brothers out here in California, because we always encourage them, let them know, whenever you're ready to bring this sauce back, it's up to you. That's you, the next generation. Well, they decided to do it. And so David, he would send us samples, and we would taste it and say, yeah, that's it. And so he and Harold got together. David cooked in his apartment in Sacramento. Harold lived in Oakland. And so they would get the grand girls together in Sacramento in his apartment, and then they would cook it, bottle it, shrink wrap it, and mail it off. I think they started off with 250 bottles, and they sold it all. We still have customers in Sacramento that remember the sauce. And so since we sold those 250 bottles, and that let us know that we still had a market out there. Okay, so today, what Mama Pearson does for Pearson's Premium, you know, whatever they need me to do, because, you know, this is a new day. With their dad, I was there for whatever he needed me to do. We had to actually walk to the stores and get in the stores and do festivals and things like that. This is a new age, so I'm learning how to sell online, which is easier, you know? And I'm doing videos like this. I'm in the kitchen cooking, coming up with new ideas for the sauce, and then I'll just take my phone out and I'll just video that recipe, you know. Or like I said, we do festivals. I help plan festivals. You know, we went to this one called the Grilled Cheese Festival. Who in the world goes to a grilled cheese festival? They looked at me like, Mom, what is this? Well, it's in Sacramento. And I was eating grilled cheese one day. I said, tastes good with this barbecue sauce. And I said, well, they have a festival, so let's take our sauce out there. We so phenomenal out there. So our sauce goes on everything. So anyway, I'm here to help. I'm here to push on the fourth gen. It was the second generation. So the third generation is my grandgirls. They go with us. We get our gear on. We got gear to fit them. And they're out there selling. My little grandgirl, she's 7. Her name is Josiah, JoJo. She says, come taste the best sauce you've never tasted. So we got those girls working, and they look for a break and everything. So anyway, I'm all excited about it, and you know, they got me doing things like this. You know, so I love it. And so we as parents, we have to push our kids. We have to encourage them, because we're going to leave a legacy. That's what the Bible says. So we're going to leave a legacy for our kids. The Pearson's Premium Barbecue Sauce, the best sauce you've never tasted. I remember taking this sauce home on the airplane over 20 years ago in the mason jar. And my sister, Joanne, y'all know Joanne, right?
Mm-hmm, yep.
She called it Harold's Mumbo Sauce. And I couldn't come home without it. I can come home without y'all, but I couldn't come home without the mumbo sauce. Right. So that's what they wanted, and you know, I think they encouraged your dad to make some.
I really have no idea where he got the entrepreneur bug. I think what David said earlier around usually, you know, businesses start with a lack of, you know, a need that needs to be filled. And so I think that, you know, him being encouraged by, you know, folks tasting it, us tasting it, you know, he would always ask us, like, is this good? Does this taste good? We'd be like, you know, Dad, put a little something else in there, you know. And so I think the feedback that he got from everybody that was, you know, from family, from friends, from professionals, that like, hey, this is really something that is that everybody likes and that everybody needs to know about, is where he got that bug from, that encouragement. So I think that how that has landed on us is like, you know, for me, if I see, you know, I saw everything happen from ground zero. I saw it come from an idea, from the inception of, you know, a logo and a bottle in a mason jar, to being at the sauce used to be at the farmers markets, and then it was at a co-packer, and then once we had somebody professional bottling the sauce, it was back at the farmers market because one of the employees was stealing sauce and selling it at the farmers market. Like, it was crazy. But you know, I've taken that into my, you know, to my professional and personal life, because, you know, if I come up with an idea, I know it can work. The only way it's not going to work is if I don't do it, you know. So I really appreciate about my mom and my dad both being entrepreneurial and just being, you know, if they see an idea, they see something, they want to fix it, or, you know, they want to provide something for somebody. So that's how it lands for me, and you know, I really appreciate that about them, for sure.
These two said look, I laughed when I heard them say, we be in the bed sleeping, and then when we smell it, that's when they get it. They ain't gonna help now. But they're the entrepreneurs today. How did y'all go from sleeping to being the entrepreneur? What was up with
everything
that?
happens through osmosis sometimes, just like, you know, we talked about, just watching Dad.
Yep.
All we know about making a sauce, just watching him stir in the pot, watching him cut up the right vegetables. We know his shopping techniques. I mean, Dad is a very meticulous human being.
Yeah,
that all came from him, as far as we just rebranded it and but we kept his color scheme. But all this stuff was genius when he initially put it out, and it was actually hard to live up to. But knowing that he feel good in selling this to his peoples right now, that's the dope thing, because
Absolutely.
he is happy with the brand we put out.
So I'm from the Midwest, and in the Midwest, as growing up, my dad was a bricklayer, and I'm in Gary, Indiana. He was the famous barbecue brick maker. So people would get him to make their barbecue pits, build them out of brick and mortar. He would put fancy arches on them. He built an oven on the side, so that's where your smoker was. But the bricks would make the best barbecue sauce. So also when that kind of you can't find a brick mason hardly back there now. So the men in Gary, Indiana would get these big oil cans, and they would cut them in half, and then they would put 4 legs on them, paint them up, make them look all fancy, and then they would have a grill on the inside. And that big tin, my sister has it in her backyard today, 2023. She makes the best barbecue in that, I'm telling you. So that's the way it was. They do sell, the propane and all that, but you need to go back and get one of those. That's the best barbecue sauce. So I had the Pearsons Premium on it. If you look on my page today, you'll see it. My sister had wings, she had fish, she had pork steak, she had everything on there. And all I did was come in the backyard and I started eating off the grill of that big barbecue tin that she had. Before they had charcoal lighter fluid, we would twist the paper and get the wood and put it in there, so you got that smoky flavor. You got, it did everything the grill is doing today. And so that was the best barbecue. So when we got to, when I met their dad, and pause on that, we were in the military, he went and took a year over in Italy, where when he came back, he was very good at making the spaghetti sauce. He didn't make it the way we made it. So he was a master of making spaghetti sauce. He made pizza sauce. He made homemade pizzas for the kids. So he had all that going for him. And so when he started the barbecue grilling at the home, we had barbecue grills, but I knew he was, we from the Midwest, so I didn't have to overlook and see what he was doing. I'd make the sides, and he'd go make the sauce, and then he'd barbecue. And so that's why we came up with the greatest barbecue and the greatest sauce.
It never really went out of business. So over, I had a lot of my teammates, a lot of my friends, family, classmates, they all had the sauce. And every so often, I would run into somebody and be like, man, where's that sauce at? And I'm like, dude, it's been 15 years. Like, why are you still asking about this sauce? So it was always on people's brains. It was always on our brains because people would just continue to ask us about it. And so, when my sister called and was like, yo, I think we all had it in our minds, like at some point that we would do it because, I think my dad was, I think he was strategic about the naming. It's Pearsons. So it's not just about him. He made it about family. He made it about all of us. So I think, all of us felt like it was our job at some point to take what he started and take it, and keep it going. And so, when she called us, it was kind of like a no-brainer, like, hey, it's time to get the sauce going. And, we were all sitting at home during the pandemic not doing anything or, doing the best we could. And so that's when we started. And, it was definitely a difficult time to start a business, but it was the best time to start the business. So I'm grateful for her. I'm grateful for, my mom, my brother, and my dad and my sister for, being a part of that. It was great.
When Harold and I had to take a hiatus from the Pearson sauce, we still had the brand. He stayed in California on the West Coast. I went back to the Midwest. We still had the brand. The kids knew they had the brand. And so we co-parented, and we all the kids began to become entrepreneurs, and they went to college and they graduated and they did their thing and they got their experience. I knew they was getting it. They probably didn't know. But it wasn't a matter of, just like my daughter said, it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when. And so when 2020 hit, the when showed up. And so I was, but I wasn't a part of that. The three children that we had co-parented, we had raised them to be independent thinkers, and they jumped on it. And Angie got with her brother and called David, and that's why we have today the second generation of the best sauce you've never tasted.
Oh man.
Facts. I feel like spoiled though. Like we didn't know it as kids, but we had our own barbecue sauce, and like you don't realize that until now that we're all grown and we got kids now, how truly special it is for you to customize a child's childhood, because we had our own barbecue sauce and we didn't realize we were getting spoiled with our food, the food our parents made for us. So, yeah. The significance that the sauce has made in terms of other families and friends that have tried the sauce and grew to love the sauce. They really always had, it was just always that thing of just remembering the sauce. Just like remembering your favorite cousin, or remembering, your late grandmother. That's what it was like. The sauce is like in friends and family, amongst friends and family. They really enjoy talking about the sauce, talking about how good it is, just as much as they enjoy actually tasting the sauce and putting it on their favorite dishes. So that is something that I feel like is pivotal, and that's the most important thing that I think families and friends always fellowship over, is the mere memory of the sauce. And so that's why we thought, why not go ahead and continue, this. It wasn't even a question of if we were going to continue the sauce or not. It was just a matter of when. It was a matter of how. It was a matter of, why. So those were key things that we had to figure out when it came to continuing the sauce. So I don't think it was a matter of if it was ever going to be a possibility or ever happen. It was definitely going to happen. We just needed to answer all of those other questions though first. And so with timing, when you allow things to just, flow, the time and everything, you don't put a deadline on something, then when the time is right. It just happens. And I think during the pandemic, what really happened was we saw a lot of other Black businesses thriving. That time was very inspiring for everyone. It was scary, but yet an inspiring time, because we saw all these businesses actually launching, and we already knew what we had, in our arsenal, so to speak. So we knew what we had, and so that's what we used. And we thought the time was then, and so we struck while the iron was hot. And I think that's one of the best decisions we've made. So growing up, my dad was the grill master in our house. And so Harold and I had already been talking about it, and we knew pretty much that out of the three of us, David was the griller, the best person to create this sauce and get us jump started so that we can get this thing rolling. So Harold and I got David on the phone, and we just challenged him to go ahead and make the first batch of sauce.
Cool. My brother and my sister called me up during the pandemic. We can all remember everybody was at home, everybody close to their families. We weren't working out in the streets as much. Everybody was coming back to a foundational level of what is important. And my brother and sister called me about the business. Totally unexpected by me, but they presented a challenge. And the challenge was, let's see about rebranding and getting this recipe and putting this sauce back out to the people. because everybody's been clamoring over the years of hiatus. My dad had to shelve the product a little while in the early 2000s. He had to shelve it, and but it was always available for us to take as a business whenever we wanted to. But I feel we were all in our own endeavors and learned a lot entrepreneurship wise and being our own business owners of how to do business and how to do different things, how to depend on yourself, how to depend on others, how to be a teammate, good teammate, bad teammate, whatever. Just everything that is involved with being a business owner. And then we came back during the pandemic to come back together, and I saw it as an opportunity for us as a legacy to really work together and bring our skill sets together and make this brand very successful, because everybody has been successful. My brother and sister have been successful in their ventures throughout the years. I've been hitting and missing in my ventures throughout the years, and I thought this is a perfect chance for us to make history as a legacy and really bring this brand to the public and back out.
Our spice level is not overpowering, so our hottest is our spicy, but you still get our flavor. The spice level doesn't overpower the meat or whatever you're cooking, or even the taste of the sauce and stuff. You still get that Pearson's flavor, that Midwest appeal. And then the spice level is that California kick.
But that's what when we're doing you see when we're doing the festivals, the customers come back. The Harold and David ask, "What's your spice level?" And they be like, "Spice level." And then he tell them, and then they say, "Is it spicy? Is it overpowering?" And they just say, "Hey, no, it's got a flavor to it. It's not gonna kill the flavor."
I can't even say enough about that Bloody Mary. I ordered it spicy like I usually do, but then putting that premium sauce in there, you don't even know what it added, but you know that it needed it. That's the crazy part of it. You know it needed the sauce, but you don't know.
Right.
Like, you wouldn't have known that before until you just pour the sauce in there. So I'm just like, it really upgrades your dining experience, I would say, with whatever you eat.
I mean, a lot of my friends, they would be asking me, "Man, where's the sauce at? Man, where that sauce? Man, where that sauce?" And so many years I was like, we don't have any, it's gone, it's on hiatus. And now it's cool to say, well, go to PearsonsPremium.com, it's right there. We'll send it to you.
Right.
Well, I think all of us play a role, in the business, and all of us, it's really cool running a business with family because what people are saying without saying it all the time. You don't always have to explain things. And so, ain't nothing like family business. It's good. It comes with ups and downs, but, mostly ups.
So my role really within Pearson's Premium is to really support and step in wherever I need to. I do have a finance background, so I offer that expertise or that kind of help to helping with the business, because it really is a family business.
So there's a lot of great things that happen and transpire in recreating a sauce and just delivering a sauce to a product to the world. And being a spokesperson for the sauce is something I witnessed my dad do for many years, and it's just something that I witnessed my mom do for many years, and something that just kind of a learned experience, and something that I've taken into you got to speak up at sometimes. And so one of the things that takes me back to is a festival we did, Farm to Fork. So one of the things that stands out for me from the Farm to Fork festival was, we're at our stand, and one of the ladies that she came by, and she's not even a sauce fan, but she got a chance to taste the sauce, love the sauce. But she was also an editor of a magazine, the California Bountiful magazine, and we had a great conversation about the sauce. We got to talk about the history and I got to tell her, educate her about some of the things that we've been doing and some of our plans for the future. And that actually turned out, into a full feature where we are featured in the magazine, and we actually got a chance to be on, TV, Greater Sacramento, and it was just a great experience. So, throughout this journey, I've had to, step up and be a spokesperson and really just educating people on what they might be missing, which is Pearson's Premium. It's the best sauce you never tasted.
Yeah, I mean, the sauce is a hearty sauce. It's a hearty sauce. You got your spices, you got the great ingredients and the vegetables. So.
Don't y'all feel like David always doing a commercial? Go ahead, commercial.
He was just like, he went home. He told me he woke up in the middle of the night. Refrigerator is bare. He doesn't have a lot of stuff in there. Maybe he has some bread in there. He didn't know the bread in Pearson's recipe yet. But he was like, ain't nothing else in there. I don't have nothing to make. And he's groggy, tired. You know how we be. He goes hit the refrigerator real quick, wake up out of your cold sleep. And then he had some Pearson's open bottle there. And he just opened it up and took a swig. Took a couple gulps.
Who does that? That's like we
I would do this for you guys.
Nutrition.
But it satisfied him. Whatever he did, he went back to sleep. So
Right.
Pearson Premium also satisfied.
And put you to sleep.
Yeah.
Well, that's the part where that consistency comes into play, and that homemade consistency that's not in other sauces is they're everything is ground down, is mass produced.
Right.
It's not a homemade feel to it.
Right.
Because it doesn't have that homemade base to it. So having those vegetables, those fresh vegetables in there, and that seasoning in there, what I mean? It's just a different level. Well, I think food just naturally brings people together, and I think the sauce just always brought us together. I mean, like you said, we would be up in the room sleeping or whatever, but once that barbecue pit closes and it's all done, everything is ready to go. Like, man, we running downstairs. Like, everybody's showing up. That's kind of like where the cowbell rings and. Food's ready, and so everybody gets around the table. So I think food naturally brings people together, and the sauce brought us together on a regular basis. And then, I really like one of the things that we have in our some of our material is like we've been bringing families together since 1995, and so. That's when the sauce started, and so I feel good about that. I feel proud that we have been doing it that long, and that's all part of Harold Pearson Sr. So when the sauce, we had the sauce, it was like maybe 1998, 99, and so the sauce was I was in school at UC Berkeley. And it was on the football. It was always on the football, our meals and training table, and when we had lunch or dinner or whatever. And so everybody would be like, "Man, this is great. This is the best sauce ever." Blah blah blah. And I'd be like, "This is like not even like." Well, my dad makes this in the kitchen with his own hands. Like this is about 50% of that. And so what we came up with is to get with this recipe. To really give the folks what my dad made in the kitchen and in the backyard. So I think this recipe is so close to what we had, and so we're sharing. We really wanted to share that experience with everybody else, and so it's not a whole bunch of we didn't let a company or a co-packer come in and cut costs, cut ingredients. Cut this, cut that, let's add these things to make it taste like this. No, this is exactly what we had in the backyard growing up, cutting up the onions and the bell peppers and, all the spices and whatnot. So there's no gluteum sorbonate, XYZ, mono, whatever. You know what I'm saying? If we gave you the recipe, you could make it today. And so I feel real good about that, and I feel proud about that. And that's one of the things that makes us the best sauce you never tasted.
Yep.
Yeah, we
Yep, everything was thought out.
You guys
Everything
are
was thought out.
Yeah. When you get his approval, that's what.
But you know, y'all took it to another level. Y'all came out with the granddaddy big gallon. I was impressed. I didn't know y'all was working on
That
that.
was great. Yes. Yeah. We got a lot of other things going on. We didn't talk about rubs. We didn't talk about vegan options. I mean, we got a lot of
Oh,
stuff
yeah, the
coming.
vegan.
So this is just the beginning. We just want to make a real explosion with our sauce, and then it'll lead to other things we're gonna put out.
Let's see.
Gourmet.
Angie came 10 years later. You know, she was 14 months between y'all, and then you 10 years down the road. What you remember about the sauce?
I just remember going to the store. I remember going to the grocery stores with Dad, restocking the shelves, putting the sauce from the pot to the actual in the bottles, because I think he did that manually from what I can remember. He didn't have any other way. So, and then you helping with the packaging, of course, and putting the sauce. I always remember the box with the slits that were specially fitted for the sauce bottles. So I remember that, package it up, put it in the car, and then make the deliveries.
So, looking back, the sauce really never left. And so we would always have people asking for, where's the sauce? How can I get it? And I would always have to tell them, like, there is no more sauce. I don't have any. And so looking back, and when we re-engaged the sauce, and, I called, my sister called me. I said, we got to get Dave involved. Dave at that point was he was barbecuing a lot. He's an engineer, so we knew that we had to bring him in, and it had to be all of us together. And so, we had to give away a lot of sauce. We had to make a lot of sauce. We had to retest it out, and it was definitely a process. And then when we actually launched the sauce, there were so many people that never forgot about it. It was something stuck in there. They say nostalgia is one of the strongest things. And that nostalgia brought folks back to, like, hey, where can I get it? You have it now, I'm going to get it. So, that first 3 days, I think we sold 200 something bottles in a couple of days, because people were that was our customer base from, 20 years ago. And it's really hard to, keep a customer base for 20 years, but that's how, powerful the sauce is, and that's how good it is. And, just looking at, being a spokesperson for the sauce and watching my dad over the years, that was something that I just watched him do. Is, he had to be the spokesperson, he had to be the cook, he had to do the marketing, he had to be the delivery person, and we were part of that delivery crew. But looking at those things that I just witnessed and saw, my mom my mom and my dad were both self-starters. And you didn't have to tell them much to get anything started. And so I think that's the part that was, that I took, is like, we don't have to wait for anybody in order to do something. We could just do it. And so, that was the biggest imprint on me is, whenever I want to do something, I can do it. It's just a matter of, when. It's not a matter of if. It's just when I want to do it.
I remember you guys going to help them pack it, take it to different stores.
It really is a homemade sauce, though.
Yeah, and you had to be on point. Dad had to get on you. If you was late, you didn't pack it right, you didn't face it right. Taught us how to execute. Taught us about hard work, consistency, being consistent, and the sauce has a different level of consistency, and when we provide the customers the same thing.
I compared to on-the-job training. We were getting trained on whatever job. It wasn't anything specific. You didn't know the title. You just knew you were doing a job, and you were getting trained, and you didn't know it. But at a young age, you were being taught how to be given certain responsibilities and to execute those responsibilities. That's all we knew. As simple as that. That was the blueprint. And then that's how we handled life, though. Anything that we did it and treated it like it was a job. To this day, that's just how we function. That's how our brain functions.
And you enjoy it.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you teach kids at a young age, that does become the way of life. It's not looked at any other way. It's not looked at as a job. It's just looked at as, this is life, and this is how you're supposed to, this is about how you're supposed to live it.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get into some more competitions, sauce competitions. We won. There was American Royal has a competition. It's actually out of Kansas City, and so our spicy sauce got 15th, I believe. And this is a national brand, and it's based in the Midwest. So you rarely will see a West Coast brand of barbecue sauce placed that high in a Midwest area, you know what I mean? So that just kind of speaks to volumes of the quality of our brand and the flavor behind it and the everything that's in it. So we're gonna jump into more food and sauce competition. So you know, I'm excited about the competition. I'm excited to get to that number one. Yep. Our sauce is different. It's if I explain it to a foodie, it's like eating a fine wine. So it has a layered flavor to it. So most sauces are, you know, there's a lot of sugar. There's you know, there's a lot of other stuff. There's gums to make it thicker. There's different things to make it thinner, to make it sweeter, or to make it, you know, have certain types of flavor. These are all natural ingredients that really, it's a complex list of ingredients, about 19, almost 20 ingredients in there. Most of your sauces out there maybe have 5 or 6. And then we don't have any artificial, there's no gums, there's no high fructose corn syrup, there's nothing in there making it sweeter. So really it's a collage of textures, flavors, and you know that there's that history of the Midwest in there that's baked into, you know, or cooked into, you know, every bottle. So that's what makes it different. You're gonna go through the layers of sweet, smoky, and then it's gonna have that tang and that little bit of kick at the end that's gonna like take your palate on a roller coaster. So I take it myself. I take it all the time, as many times as I can. So if I love it, I know that you'll love it too, for sure. I mean, you need this sauce in your life because it's gonna upgrade whatever you're eating, whatever you have, whether it's chicken, beef, seafood, veggies. It's gonna upgrade the flavor. So it's not gonna overpower, you know, the flavor. So you don't need to, you know, dump a huge amount on there in order for it to taste good. Like, it's gonna do a nice dance, you know, with whatever you are cooking, and whether it's ribs, chicken, like I said, obviously barbecue, it's a home run, you know, tri-tip, home run. It's a great dipping sauce. You can use it as a marinade. You can use it on the top after you finish. You can use it as a glaze after you finish cooking. So there's just a lot of different ways to use it. And with the complex flavor, it just really upgrades whatever you're eating. David mentioned eggs before. I put it on my omelets, put it on my eggs. You know, I'm not a big ketchup eggs guy, but Pearson Premium eggs, oh yeah, it's going down. Best way you can experience the product is go to PearsonsPremium.com. You can go there, you can find out how to get the sauce, where you need to get it. You can find out about the Pearson family. You know, if you want to get into the Pearson family, you can, you know, to the premium family, you can sign up there. We're on Instagram, Pearson Premium BBQ. We're also on Facebook at Pearson's Premium Gourmet Foods. And then we're also on TikTok on Pearson's Premium as well. So find us on all social media outlets, find us on the website. You can email us at bbq@pearsonspremium.com. We got you. What makes it premium is the flavor palette. So and the ingredients, like they're premium ingredients, and we've had this from a number of different food professionals. Like the things that we put into the sauce are not things that we're not cutting cost on, ingredients. We're not cutting cost on packaging, and so it really is a premium brand, and everything that we want to have. And that we've had in our family, we want to share that with all the families in California, in the United States, and in the world. Yeah, so we are really a farm to fork brand. So really, fresh food, fresh vegetables, fresh ingredients, all natural ingredients. So these are not ingredients that you can't pronounce, that you don't know what they are, that cost, a lot less. So, it's high fructose corn syrup is super cheap, super efficient, and but that's not something that's not a premium brand for us. That's not something that we would use in our family. So we're not going to provide that to you for your family. So we are adhering to some of the strictest guidelines as far as food qualities. California has some of the strictest standards for food quality in the world. And once you pass California standards, then everybody else's standards are, it's easy to pass. So that's also what makes it a premium brand. All right, so this is Harold Pearson Jr. signing off, I'm a co-founder representing Angeline Pearson, David Pearson, Mom Pearson, and Harold Pearson Sr. And the Pearson family invites you to join us on our journey to make Pearson's Premium the #1 sauce in the world. PearsonsPremium.com. Pearson's Premium Gourmet Foods and Gourmet Barbecue Sauce, the best sauce you never tasted. Signing off.